Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Cave. If you're just joining us, you're rejoining the adventure of our adventurer, our scientist, and our knight. I always mix up the D-pads that we have to use to get them. And we've just kind of finished our first real puzzle in the game, and we're going to get involved. I know in the last episode I said this wasn't really a physics-based puzzler, but there are going to be some physics-based puzzles that we're going to have to deal with here. It's a nice little mix of physics-based puzzling as well as more point-and-click, kind of abstract combinations of items style that you're going to see. So what we have to do here, as you can see, obviously we've got this bridge that is completely untraversable to us, unless we do this and get the weight down so that we can actually traverse this. And there's going to be a new piece of cave painting for us here, so we're going to get this. Remember the story of the knight? He's just a peasant boy, then the dude dies in front of him, and he chooses to put the armor on, apparently. That fills in some of the gaps that I had earlier. Now, there are going to be some, physics-based puzzling hallmarks in this. Obviously, we can't get through here unless the scientist gets off, so come on, lady. There we go. Get your shit together. We're going to grab this right here. Now, the reason, I should probably set up the fail condition for this puzzle right here before just solving it. The reason we need this crate is because if we just take the scientist and we jump off here, she's just gonna die like a piece of garbage, basically. We could actually, using the power of the knight, we could have him jump off and then just become invincible, and he can land, but fall damage will definitely kill that scientist. So instead, what we're gonna do, let's take our adventurer here, and we're gonna drag the crate underneath, and then she should be able to fall down here safely, probably just at the edge of the fall damage, and then we'll be able to get through here. And we should all be able to jump over this accordingly. Yes. Now, notice this switch. It's very important in the cave to pay attention to kind of like environmental cues. When we jump on this, we might say, oh, nothing happens. But if you look closely at this switch, there's 3 lights. If we jump off and jump back on, one of the lights will come down. So you can probably figure out exactly what we need there. A lot of the puzzles that involve cooperation basically involve switches like this, where we need to basically have 1 or 2 or 3 people standing on it at a time, or we need somebody to hold a lever while somebody else makes their way through. So that puzzle is fairly easy to complete, although it does introduce, I think the reason that's there from a design perspective is to introduce the idea of fall damage killing you.
Cannot be learned. It is a quality you are born with. That may or may not be true, but what is true is you can't steal it. It's a lesson our brave knight friend is about to learn, or a lesson we hope he is about to learn before anyone else gets hurt, or maimed, or killed, or eaten alive. Forget I said eaten alive. Spoilers!
Try to pretend you didn't hear that. Anyway, one thing I want to mention about the cave, I mentioned this in the first part, but the game changes dynamically based on the characters that you took. So if you weren't playing as the knight right now, you have like an open area over here. I watched Kate play a game where she didn't have the knight. The knight's like standalone quest is down there, but if you don't have the knight, it's impossible for you to get through there without being burned to a crisp. So you would actually just come up this way, and there would be another area over here where you could do the quest for whatever respective character you took. I find that really interesting and pretty inventive for a puzzle platformer like this as well. But anyway, we do have the knight, so by using our invincibility, we can fall down here and get the knight's quest, which is going to make up the bulk of this video. And maybe the next one, too.
Cometh to try and pulleth Excalibur from the stoneth. Only the worthy may attempt such a feat. Prove thy worth by first winning the love of my daughter. She is quite prickly, and I fear she will never wed. Returneth with her amulet as proof of her love, and thou will be granted a chance to pulleth the swordeth from the stoneth.
Thanketh you for the questeth. So our mission briefing here basically is to go to the king's daughter and win her love. Doesn't sound so hard, right? We're a knight in shining armor. Should be fairly easy. This is, I can't remember if this is the way we want to go. No, this is not the way we want to go. This is the way back up for the characters who cannot go through the flames, like our adventurer and scientist are just incapable of doing so. So they've joined us now. Game's pretty good about bringing characters to you when necessary. I never encountered a situation where I ended up getting stuck because a character was incapable of making it through an obstacle that another character's special ability basically made possible. Sometimes you can jump up the rope, sometimes you can't. I like when games allow you to jump up the rope.
Oh, please. Not another chivalrous knight trying to win my love through misguided feats of bravery or bribery. I really need to talk to my father about this. Okay, let's get it over with. Go prove your bravery by returning with the gold the dragon is guarding. Do that, and I'll give you my amulet as a token of my love. Blah, blah, blah. That is what you want to hear, right? Dragon, gold, amulet. In that order. Men. I just want to be an electrical engineer.
Again, that is some classic Double Fine type humor right there. But now, you heard what she said? It was a dragon gold amulet in that order. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to encounter... this is an interesting multi-stage puzzle that actually does a really good job of introducing you to a lot of the basic mechanics. Or actually, truth be told, more advanced mechanics that we're going to have to deal with in the cave in order to succeed, I should say. So, to start out with here, you can see we got some signs. This is the amulet area, obviously. And this is the dragon type area. So let's go down. She said dragon gold amulet in that order. And I'm just going to demonstrate why things are a little bit more complicated than they seem. So if we come down here first, we can see there's this dragon. Now, I'm going to spoil things for you a little bit. This dragon is basically going to burn us to a crisp. The only reason I'm still alive is because I used the knight's, like, Halo ability or Angel ability, which basically makes him invincible. But this is not going to, like, make things any easier on us. This is not the solution to the puzzle. What is important for this puzzle... by the way, the gold, as you might expect, is just behind him. Maybe we can get a quick glance at it here. Yeah, you can see that gold orb. But obviously we can't get to it this way, or through any means of cooperation with our teammates. So what we actually have to do is just grab the dragon stuff here, which is basically just an assorted pile of body parts and weapons that were obviously used to try to kill the dragon earlier. And obviously that failed. And we're just going to take this down with us, and we're going to use this basically as a crate to continue on our journey here. So by pushing this over here, we'll be able to get this... next oh, don't get stuck in the wall, buddy. Sometimes this happens. I will say, for all the good things I have to say about the cave, there have been some pretty substantial glitches that I've come across. I've had some items that, you know, were essential for quests just disappear and require me to reload my save or, like, reboot the game, basically. Occasionally, characters will get stuck in walls and stuff like that. I still think this is a good game overall, but occasionally you do encounter stuff like this, which is really annoying. Anyway, we're going to take our knight. We're going to jump over here. We might as well get this one to continue telling the story. Remember, he just put on the armor. So a playful deception. He's not really a knight, at least not yet. And we're going to do some platforming, get across here. And this will introduce kind of the next element of the puzzle. Obviously, in order to get this gold, we are going to have to open this gate with our key and then take the dragon's treasure. But how do we get the key, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did ask. Because that is going to require us to go up here, I believe. And we should probably, actually, not probably, we need... more characters to come with us if we are going to accomplish this. By the way, notice the flavor text around this fire. Every time you walk by it, because fire is something you can interact with sometimes, it'll have text over it to basically be like, hey, this is an element you can interact with. And a lot of the times it just says flame or fire or hot flame. That time it was just like ouchy burny thing. Anyway, so we can probably get a glimpse of the key. Yeah, there's the key right there. And you might think, hey, this guy's a knight too. Maybe, hey, knight buddy, what's up? No, he's just going to shoot us with his crossbow. Because obviously, that would be pretty shitty for, you know, the life of the people in the castle. If anyone could have access to the key, which could possibly release the beast, that could just destroy everybody who lives there all at once. So we're going to take our scientist. Her special ability is not very important here, but we kind of need an extra set of hands, basically, to help us out. So what we're going to do is climb all the way up here and take note of some of the rooms that we come across, because we're going to have to deal with these again in the future. I believe, yeah, there's some dynamite in this room. Again, if we try to just go for the dynamite, this guy will just shoot us. I think that's to basically keep us from breaking the game, because if we just, like, try to explode these dudes with dynamite or something, it might cause some bad stuff to happen from game perspective. Anyway, what are we up to here? Just one second. I'm trying to remember where we are. Do we have some cave painting up here? No, this is where the princess is, and there's a coin machine. That's where we're going to put the dragon's coin when we get it. Now, here's the puzzle that I was mainly referring to here. So, we are going to have... we're going to require, actually, all three of our teammates here, so I should bring the adventurer back up, which might take a minute here. Again, this is something that happens now and then in the cave, but basically to set up the scene for that puzzle... oh, just don't fall in the spikes. To set the scene for this puzzle, we have that elevator that you can see that was hanging off the side of the building, and we also have a switch that controls that elevator. So, we're going to need to put one person in the elevator and kind of lower them down with the switch, using the other person. And then we're going to execute a deception. We're going to, like, distract the... guard that was shooting us before, and then someone else should be able to go in there and get the key. Alright, so I think this is fairly well set up. So obviously we can't just go through there, or we will die, even using the knight's invincibility. Because the thing is, we can make our knight invincible, but we can't move him when he is invincible, so he can't actually, like, make any progress moving forward. So we're going to put our knight on here. Here's how this is going to work. We're going to make him invincible, because you can use your ability as you switch characters. Let's just move him more to the center. Like so. Then we're going to switch to our scientist while the invincibility is still active, and we're going to lower this guy down to the next floor. I think it's floor 3. Okay, so we're just gonna leave him there for a second. That's floor 2. This is not where we wanted to be, but we can get a cave painting this way, I feel, but I'm not really that concerned about that. Nope, go the other way, please. Mrs. Scientist, thank you. Now, on floor 3, I'm pretty sure the knight is just gonna shoot at our... Or, their protective knight, their guard, is gonna shoot at our knight constantly. Now, you can probably figure out what we're supposed to do here if you couldn't figure it out before. This is gonna allow us to walk up behind this guard. We're gonna get this dragon gate key, and... then we should be able to just go unlock that treasure. This puzzle took me a reasonable amount of time to figure out my first time through, but it was really satisfying because it is kind of, you know, based on the world around you. It's not totally esoteric. There are some puzzles in the cave that are really, really esoteric. And I mean that in both a positive and a negative way, because I prefer when games have a more logical puzzle design, and sometimes the solutions in the cave seem a little bit arbitrary. But this one seemed, it was well done, and it's funny as well, as you'll see when we get a little bit further on. But anyway, we're gonna unlock the gate for the dragon here. We're gonna steal his treasure. Oh! I'm not sure, actually, what we're supposed to... Oh, you know what? I know exactly what we're supposed to do here. Now that we've got this situation, let's just basically get our knight killed and have him respawn. And then we're gonna move him all the way back down here. Now, we have to use that distraction mechanic many times in the game. But the way that we're gonna do it this time is basically by making our knight invincible and then moving him behind the dragon, or I guess in front of the dragon, technically. And then the adventurer should be able to simply take the gold without anybody noticing. And we will actually be able to finish this puzzle all within this video, I think. Most of it, anyway. We'll probably have the second part in the next episode. I'm not totally sure how it's going to work out yet. So right now, Knight is invincible. We're just going to keep him that way. Then we're going to switch to our adventurer, who can take the dragon's treasure and then run away. Oh, barely made it. That's okay, though. And now, obviously, with this coin, we are going to go insert that into the princess's coin slot. That sounded kind of misogynistic. I didn't mean it in that way. But prepare for some voiceover work, so I'm probably going to shut up here for a while, because they're going to set the stage for what we're about to see.
Let the gate open!
Whoops. Sounds like someone forgot to close the gate to the dragon's den. I'm sure the princess will be fine. She's way up in the tower, and I don't think dragons can fly. She'll be fine.
Well, let's see.
Sounds like that seconds away from getting the princess's amulet. Oh, the suspense is killing me. The suspense was killing someone.
But
It just wasn't me. Worst first date ever. Looks like the knight is out of luck. He's never going to get her amulet now. I stand corrected. Looks like it's a win-win. Well, not for the princess, but win-win for the knight and the dragon. When our brave heroes get back to the king, my advice would be to skip over this part.
Alright, so we have gotten the bloody amulet. It's bloody, obviously, because, oh, the princess died. I can't believe... Oh, we have to start all the way back up here. I got stuck at this part for a while, too. It's not really like a What are you doing there? How are you just hanging out? Look like a metapod or something. It's not really like a difficult section with respect to platforming. I rush through things sometimes, which makes it a little difficult. So we should be able to just fall like that. Okay. So we gotta take this amulet.
Let's hope the king doesn't ask how the princess is doing.
Back to, I think we need to give it to our knight. So where is he? Oh, all the way back up here.
Off the amulet before giving it to the king. It's just good manners.
Okay. So you know what? I think we will be able to complete this entire quest in the course of this video, which is good. It keeps it a little bit more standalone, and I think it flows naturally, which is, you know, my aim for stuff like this. Apologies, by the way. I just hit my desk, which always causes my microphone to go, like, totally dubstep. Anyway. So we're going to take our knight up here. We need to give him the amulet because to get to the king, we actually have to go through that flame area again, which is something that you might not realize unless you've played the game before or have a really good eye for the design of the levels and a really good memory with respect to the levels. Anyway, first things first. We're going to take our knight and we're going to climb back up here and we're going to give the bloody amulet to the king, who is then going to let us try to pull Excalibur out of the jagged rocks that it is currently imprisoned within. So yes, we're going to fall down through here using the knight's invincibility. Sometimes can be a little finicky to make this work without landing on the platform because I don't want to land. There we go. Okay. So we've descended and we have the amulet. Let's let the king talk.
Returns with my daughter's amulet. And the first ever to do so, I might add. My daughter can be hard to swallow sometimes.
Very clever.
As promised, ye has won the right to attempt to pull the sword from the stone. You must have really proved your undying love for her.
Ooh, why did he have to say undying?
Alright, so now our goal is to just pull Excalibur from the stone here. So we're going to use the X button. Spoilers, things are not going to work out too well for us.
Knight seems to be having some problems pulling that sword from the stone. Raise your hand if you're surprised. Yeah, me neither.
That goes for you in the audience as well.
Into charisma and chivalry.
Alright, so there is some more like flavor text if we try to pull this stuff out, so we might as well see some of that.
Keep trying, son. Or should I say, son-in-law.
Oh ho ho. This guy's got some bad news coming for him. Anyway, eventually he's just going to run out of dialogue, so we're not going to go through all of that necessarily. But those of you, you know, adventure game fans amongst you, as well as those of you who are incredibly perceptive, might have noticed that the rock below me looks very similar to the rock that we blew up with the dynamite earlier. So, not to spoil things too quickly here, but yes, indeed, our goal is going to be to destroy those rocks with the dynamite. So we're going to take maybe our adventurer character here, and remember that I pointed out when I was in the castle earlier that there is indeed a stack of dynamite that we're going to get, and obviously there are some flames as well. Now you might have noticed there was like a third path. This is where we want to go, maybe? I can't remember. Yes, this is where we want to go. Remember, there was like a third path that I didn't go down, or I didn't even talk about. That's because that path is only going to become relevant now that we are actually requiring that dynamite in order to progress. So we got a big sign that says dynamite. Took me an embarrassingly long amount of time the first time I played through the game to notice that there was dynamite up here. Probably tried for about 20 minutes just mashing X on Excalibur to see if I could pull it out, because I don't understand game design at all, apparently. So we are going to run down here, and again, there will be like a extra section, the graveyard, I guess, if you will, which should allow us to put this dynamite to some good use. Obviously, we're running past a lot of fire in the meantime as well, particularly this torch right here. Now, what we want to do, I believe, is we're just going to put the dynamite close to this rock. This is going to make it so the rock collapses and Excalibur will become easier to pull out. So let's try this and make sure I'm doing it the right way. Get the fire. I'm just going to make the adventurer hold it, because then she'll hold it a little closer to the rocks. Maybe jump a little bit too. Good, that destroyed some of the rocks down here. I think that's going to be enough. And then we should be able to pull Excalibur from the stone like so. We are incredibly strong. Look at us. Rah, rah, rah.
You could do it. You have proven your honor and won the right to marry my daughter. I'm going to run to her with the good news.
Don't run too fast, old man.
In the garden. As soon as we return, the wedding can begin.
Who says cheaters never win? Losers, that's who. The king seems pretty excited about his new trial-by-sword-pulling son-in-law. Ooh, sounds like he's off to hug and congratulate his favorite daughter on the upcoming wedding.
Alright, so we've already lost Excalibur. One thing I want to point out, by the way, is that this is another example of kind of like the cool design of the cave. The level just to our left is where like the Hillbilly's level would be. Remember, the Hillbilly was one of those characters we didn't take. Now, the Hillbilly's ability allows him to swim underwater without drowning. So what he can do, and the reason we can actually get through here as the Hillbilly, is because he can swim through this incredibly long, winding path without actually dying, whereas our knight is just going to drown. So this is one of the ways the game kind of breaks it up and kind of forces you to go down certain paths with certain characters. But suffice it to say, in the overall like level design of the cave, this is the Hillbillies level over here. Maybe we'll get a chance to see that in a later playthrough. But for now, we're just going to continue along our cave tour. I do really find that an impressive design. And we are about to get introduced to a new puzzle, I think. We're going to get across here first. But then, once we get introduced to this new puzzle, I will probably stop the video, just so we can kind of keep it as like one big major puzzle per video. We're going to come across
Just because
here.
you can pull a lever doesn't mean you should. Our intrepid trio may not give this kind of seismic meddling a second thought, but choices have consequences. I've played host to more truth seekers than any human would care to count, and I know an omen when I see it.
All right, and this is actually a pretty good... Oh, come on.
This is ominous.
I like this dialogue, actually.
Ominous? Ominous. Yeah, no. Yeah. Ominous. Oh, never mind.
Anyway, this is a good time for us to stop this episode. We finished the Knight's Quest, and we're about to start kind of like the first or second, I guess, depending on your definition, like cave-specific quest, meaning that this is or general quest, I guess. This is a quest that I believe that everybody is going to have to do over the course of their time in the cave, regardless of the characters that they choose. So some of the quests or puzzles are character-specific, and some of them are just general. So this is one that probably everybody is going to have to do in their playthrough, so it's going to be good to talk about. But we're going to do that when we get back. As always, thank you guys for watching, and again, thank you for supporting this series so far in any way that you see fit. And again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time when we do the Cave General Quest.